Hi, I'm David Bloom with StreamTV. I'm here with Kevin Gray, the founder and vice president of the StreamTV Show, to talk a little bit about the extraordinary transformation, I think, of the show this year and how it got here. Kevin, as I said, founded the StreamTV Show. It has gone through a lot of change in a fairly short time. Talk a little bit about the history of the place.
Yeah, right. So we started in 2018, as you might remember. It was called Pay TV Show, and at the time,
Whole different era.
Yeah, it was a whole different era, and really the focus at the time, though, it's kind of similar in a way because we were focusing on what were the platforms of the time, right? And the platforms of the time were operators. In particular, all of your MVPDs of all your different shapes and sizes. At the time in 2018 or so, you had all those virtual MVPDs that were popping up and stuff. And there was this little thing called FAST that was just, getting on the radar.
Right.
Pluto had like 20 employees at the time, and they were all in attendance.
It was still a Pluton. It wasn't a full-size planet. Yes.
Still a pay TV show at the time. Didn't take us long to realize where all the energy and momentum was going, and it was all going towards streaming, right? And in all those next-gen platforms. And that FAST area took off in particular, as well as those virtual MVPDs, but all those guys really found a big home here in 2019. And then we were like, okay, so we really need to move this around streaming now. And then StreamTV Show happened, and unfortunately there was the pandemic in 2020, but the first one we went live with was 2022. Now we're 2025, and we're exponentially the size that we ever were back then when we were pay TV.
Well, let's talk about the size, because I think you have a record number of attendees, and certainly here at the Gaylord Rockies Resort on the edge, the east edge, the prairie edge of Denver, a lovely space, but a much bigger and fancier space than I recall. Talk about attendance and those kinds of markers, exhibitors, all that. Yeah,
so I'll start off by saying last year we were at 1,080 some odd attendees. This year it's actually up to the 1,700.
Wow.
So it's 55% growth in attendance. Sponsors, I think we had 62, 63 last year. This year, we're at 115. So almost 90% growth in sponsors. So things are really kind of exploding. And yeah, while we definitely have that big presence with those platforms of today, like I mentioned, so your CTV operating systems, your FAST, your virtual MVPDs, even some operators, you'll see Comcast and stuff like that walking around as well.
Because the platforms and the operators
it's
really
all
care
expanded
too.
from there.
Yeah.
Now it's just all things streaming. It's everything's funneled through that. All those new media companies that are launching into FAST. All of your legacy networks that are still selling into cable and broadcasters. So many broadcasters are here with like digital transformation execs and things like that. It's kind of home for all things streaming now.
So it seems like, I like to say you can really see on the screen where you guys have put some serious investment into this show. You can see with the advertising, the location and all that. Talk a little bit about some of that.
Yeah, I mean, we invested so much in a lot of things, right? So from the conference program to our partnership with Evan Shapiro that we're doing this year. He's got the Media Universe Summit, so if you're not signed up today, make sure you go ahead and do so. He's going to have a keynote starting at 11 a.m. tomorrow. He's got a reception today. It's going to be fantastic. You're not going to want to miss that. We've got Big Boy coming from Outcast tonight as part of a performance for everybody. It's going to be really fantastic as well. And so many activations you're going to see throughout the show. There's a puppy park over there. There's goat yoga tomorrow morning. But
don't miss the goat yoga.
Don't miss the goat yoga. But one
Flexible
of the things that I was going to say really led to the growth, maybe more than anything else, is our overall marketing campaign. And with that, we even did a really fun commercial, you might remember, with Earl. You can see it. If you went to the StreamTV website, you see him. He's actually going to be here somewhere at the show today, wandering around. So maybe you guys, if you see him, you'll be able to get a selfie with him or something.
We need to play a game called Where's Earl instead of Where's Waldo.
That would be great. We thought about doing some gifts for people that are able to to find him and post it onto the LinkedIn handle, #StreamTVShow.com.
Next
year, you think?
The budget's getting even bigger. We'll have a Where's Earl campaign.
We should. We should.
Like
we've gotten really good
booth
feedback.
by booth by booth. This is going to be a home run, I can tell. But for now, we've got a great show. Absolutely, and it's interesting because you mentioned Comcast. I mean, Charter, for instance, has now got all the streaming major players basically on its cable operation, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's kind of all getting mashed together. Samsung and Roku and all those platforms are the new cable operators in some ways. I mean, it is really interesting to see some of the evolution of the roles. And the show is about all of that stuff.
Right.
So where do you see the industry headed, since part of what you do is looking ahead?
You didn't tell me you were going to ask that one. So I would say...
But you're the vision guy. I'm confident.
Yeah. No, so I would say where the industry is headed, I'm not as much of an expert as some of the other folks that we're going to have on stage today. But you're going to see a lot more consolidation still, I think, right? Especially in that fast pace. There's so many channels out there.
Right.
Probably aren't going to be around, I would think, in another couple of years. There's a lot of those legacy businesses, some that already exist today, some are being spun off as of earlier this week.
Warner
right?
Brothers Discovery,
right?
you're going to split and go their separate ways.
There's going to be even more of that, and I think you're going to see some of those guys kind of continue to fade. But in the meantime, you're going to see a lot of growth in some areas too, like especially in like the creator sphere, right? There's a lot of people that are either creators themselves or are groups representing creators that are here at the show.
Right.
So creators, they're doing great on YouTube. They're very interested in everything that's happening with these CTV operating systems, with just getting themselves onto these other distribution platforms.
Right.
So they're all coming here. So you're going to see a lot more of that, I think, while some of the other areas fall off.
I'm looking forward to a conversation I'll be having with Trey Kennedy, who's become a very big star on YouTube and TikTok, but he's got an MBA from Oklahoma State. He really understands more of the business stuff about how the creators are now getting on the traditional platforms, how YouTube is the place where even the traditional platforms increasingly rely for audience engagement, building new audiences, promoting their shows, and all the rest.
It's a perfect example. And the best thing about it, too, is a lot of the times they're reaching different people. Right? So YouTube, they have their own core audience, and on these other platforms, usually it's a whole entirely, additional audience.
Usually
so
older.
Not cannibalizing anything. Usually older, but still. I mean, somebody like Trey Kennedy, he applies to, all generations.
Right.
So it actually works out great for somebody like Trey.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Well, this is David Bloom with Kevin Gray at the StreamTV Show, and over and out.